Yep.
Or anything.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another round of the Pozzible Radio Show. It's good to have you with us. And joining me, your good friend Pozzible here, we've got Joe.
Hello.
And we've got Bucky.
Hello.
And today we're just going to wrap up a little bit of this year. I know there's a whole month left. A lot of the Oscar movies are coming out here real soon. Right now, the top contenders are Les Miserables with Anne Hathaway, Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, and Amanda Seyfried.
I do want to see that movie.
Along with Argo with Ben Affleck.
I do not want to see that movie.
I'll agree with that one.
That's actually a very, very good movie. I saw that's the last movie I've seen, and yes, I've been way behind on my movie watching.
And also another Oscar contender is The Life of Pi.
You think so?
Yes.
Because I'm hearing it's good, but I don't know if it's really going to be worthy of the Oscars.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of movies have been coming out. The best part about Argo, I have to admit, is I give all credits to the writers when it comes to Argo. They made the movie very suspenseful. They made the movie very clever and very witty. Some of the one-liners they have in there are really priceless. And they don't feel like it. They just feel like normal conversation where these guys are just letting themselves go. But with that being said, we want to talk about some of our favorite movies this year, some of our worst movies this year. Bucky, as you know, just saw Life of Pi recently, and I just saw Argo recently. Let's just start with the worst now. We'll start with the worst. That way these people will have something to look forward to. What movies have been real disappointments to you this year? Any thoughts? While they're thinking, I'll go through some of my movies. One movie I was very disappointed with, as you guys already know, is Hunger Games, with Jennifer Lawrence and the others, because basically I think I walked in with too much hype. I was really expecting a great game. I was really expecting a great movie, but instead it was just really boring. I mean, it was so boring, even Jennifer Lawrence slept through most of the movie. I mean, what kind of game is that? I was hoping for running games. I was hoping for excitement. The other thing that disappointed me was the lack of definition in the movie. Like, they didn't really explain what was going on. She did the little salute to them about, their little, we got defeated, but we're still rebels salute. And
Actually, if you read the book, a lot of that stuff would be explained.
Well, that's the problem. I'm going to go see the movie. I don't have to read the book. But
if you're going to see Spider-Man, why even read the comic book?
Well, I mean, but you know what? At least in the movie, they explained everything to you, which I don't feel they did in Hunger Games.
That was kind of my complaint for Hunger Games, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
And the extreme close-up, I mean, I know that there's close-up, but that was extreme close-up. Elizabeth Banks, I could count her teeth with how close those that camera was. That being said, Bucky, have you seen anything that you were really disappointed about?
Nothing's really coming to mind right now. Pretty much all the movies I've seen. I mean, I'm just going to start from Rock of Ages to now.
Okay.
Only because I remember, I don't think I've given any rating on my reviews anything lower than a C. So everything I've seen so far this year has been at least mediocre.
Right. That's good. How about you, Joe? Anything disappointing in 2012 thus far?
Well, not for me. I mean, I've only seen 3 movies so far. I've got a bunch sitting in my room from this year that I haven't watched yet. Rock of Ages came out this year?
Yeah.
That's one that's in my DVD player.
Rock of Ages was okay. I do put it around a B minus, maybe a B. It was just, okay. I mean, Chicago is still the most important movie when it comes to that kind of genre and what they were trying to accomplish. So let's move on to the best now. And, there's a lot to say about the best. I think the biggest king of movies is, of course, Avengers. With, that all-star cast with, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and all those guys. Overall, it's still just a timeless movie. A lot of these movies were good. I could see them once, maybe twice. But Avengers is a movie I feel like I can watch over and over again. But let me ask you something. As good as Avengers was, I know we all like the Avengers. Do you think that kind of movie would ever win Best Picture? Your thoughts?
Well, I doubt it. They usually go for a different type of movies. The superhero movies really, I don't think,
Right.
get it.
They try to
That
get more
was-
serious.
That was one of
You
the
know?
3 movies I did see this year, and I mean, even though I'm like 98% DC, 2% Marvel, that was my movie of the year.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Avengers. I loved seeing. I was upset about them replacing Edward Norton with Mark Ruffalo, but it worked.
Yes.
I was totally cool with that whole movie.
Right. Mark Ruffalo really sold it as the Hulk. I mean, they all sold it. It was just that
Yes.
great a movie. For what it was, but I mean, it always reminds me of this one quote I heard from a movie where, you know, when it comes to movies, men like movies where people die quickly and women die in movies where people die slowly. I guess there wasn't enough quote-unquote human suffering for Oscars to appreciate it, but I hope for once they actually change their mind and just give the Oscar to a movie that's actually good and not just some, you know, deep meaning movie, just a fun movie. Okay. In terms of best movie so far, Bucky, do you have any comments?
Well, like I said, I was very impressed with The Life of Pi. Skyfall, I thought the movie was impressive. However, the ending was a disappointment to me.
Yeah, it was kind of a very bizarre ending, very slow ending for a Bond movie.
I got to probably give almost as good as the Avengers, but not quite. I got to give it to Wreck-It Ralph.
I have yet to see Wreck-It Ralph. I can't wait to see that one.
Wreck-It Ralph, to me, it was basically a video game player's dream. They mentioned everything from Tapper to, you know, current games that are out now. They kind of combine Call of Duty with Halo. I forgot what they call it. I think they call it Heroes Duty.
Oh, okay, kind of combine the two.
Right.
Right, that's what I hear, a lot of references.
Cloud Atlas was very impressive. Looper, I loved movies about time travel, so gotta like Looper.
Right, Looper, they did a great job of, like you said, I love movies about time travel also. And you know what's so funny? I love that line. It says, you know, don't think too much about time travel, you'll fry your brain.
See now, Bradley Cooper, he was in a movie earlier this year called The Words.
I have yet to see that. How was that?
I like this. As a struggling writer myself, I can relate to his character.
Right.
And
just be careful, don't say too much. Like I said, I have not seen it yet. I've been wanting to see it.
I will say, as far as worst movies go, I did see this small independent movie called Branded.
Ooh, yes, I remember you talking to me about that.
The trailers made it seem as differently from what I actually saw. The trailers made it get up to be like this spoofy, satirical comedy. And yet, when I went to see the movie, it was all serious and everything. So,
I think, from what I understand, very boring.
Boring throughout most of it, yes.
Right. You know,
go
ahead.
Another disappointing one was The Odd Life of Timothy Green.
Really, you didn't like that one?
I appreciate what they tried doing, but it felt like they were just reading off of scripts, and of course, Jennifer Garner is only good in like 1% of the movies that she's in.
See, this is going to be one of those areas where we disagree. I really liked The Odd Life of Timothy Green. I felt everyone really lived up to their role in it. You know, it's a very bizarre movie. Very risky movie because, you got this kid. You have a sense that he's not going to last very long. But I think that there were some really good ideas of what parenting was all about and what it means to bring up a child and everything.
Right. Another disappointing movie was the remake of Total Recall.
Oh, yes, that one. You know what made me so mad is that one reviewer said it was completely different than the original, and it wasn't. It was exactly the same. It was an abridged version. And the problem that I had with Total Recall was there was no, doubtful moments. Because remember when Hauser first meets up with Melinda, she pulls a gun on him. She doesn't trust him. And Jessica Biel's not like that. Jessica Biel just automatically trusts him. You know?
Yeah. Also, I will say that one that actually did impress me, which I wanted to be a lot better. Movie that I wanted to actually have a lot more people like. Mm-hmm. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. I did think that had an interesting premise for a movie. However, I will say that I wish they cast someone else instead of Steve Carell.
Right.
But it's one of the few movies I can think of where, actually, I don't really want to do a spoiler alert just yet. But But still, if you're planning to see the movie, cover your ears now. It's kind of one of the only movies I can think of where the hero dies at the end.
Well, everybody dies at the end. I wouldn't really call him much of a hero. He didn't save anything.
Well, true. I mean, but he's the protagonist.
Right.
You know, because literally everyone dies at the end, and I can't remember the last movie that did that.
Yeah, I know. They usually don't destroy the world in a movie. That being said, one of the other great movies, back to great movies that I saw, one of my favorites this year was John Carter. I know it was one of our first big box office bombs. That's because it cost over $250,000 to make. Marketed,
$250 million.
Yeah, $250 million. Thank you, Bucky. Very poorly marketed.
It may have seemed like it would cost only $250,000 to make.
Oh, I don't know about that because it was a very expensive movie. And, you know, the best part about John Carter was the very, very beginning. When you saw these guys come out and they're so oddly dressed, I liked it because it was such a throwback to the, 1930s, 1940s space movies. Such old-fashioned movies that I took it as an instant classic. And something about Taylor, the guy who plays John Carter, Kitsch, the guy who I didn't expect it, but the first moment I saw him, I took an instant liking to him. He was a great actor. He was very likable, very funny to watch, very very entertaining to watch. So I was very shocked that it bombed. Just bombed over here. It did really well, overseas, but like I said, very poorly marketed. This was a year for girl power with movies like Haywire, Hunger Games, Brave. All pretty decent movies with the exception of Hunger Games. But that being said, once again, they're just bringing out a lot of girl power.
Right.
But Joe, you saw two movies. You saw Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
And what was your opinion on that one?
Didn't like it as much as the Sam Raimi movies. Did have merit. I did like the organic web shooter or the non-organic web shooters in this one.
Right, the fact that he actually creates them this time.
Except for I didn't like the way they kind of put the laser sights on him because every time you shoot a web shooter, I'd see this red light, and that kind of got annoying after a while. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, still not a bad movie.
Right, and of course, the only other movie that Joe saw that we all saw was Dark Knight Rises. Nice movie, but very painful to watch. Very painful to watch Bruce Wayne being so feeble and, unable to move and all that. Of course, he meets up with Bane and Bane breaks him temporarily. But I like the comeback, that he did come back to say that it had the best ending. In some ways, with Dark Knight Rises, that's one of those movies where you almost wish they would stop Batman right there. That they wouldn't do any more with Batman because it ends. Bruce Wayne has a happy ending. Everyone moves on with their lives, and we live happily ever after.
Well, another director is probably going to do another Batman movie eventually.
Yeah, considering that these are cash cows now, so there'll be other Batman movies, and we already did a thing about
Quentin
what they did.
Tarantino hasn't done anything with him yet.
But gentlemen, weigh in. What are your thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises?
Like I said earlier, it was good as a film, and I thought it was average to maybe B-. Mm-hmm. But the ending, A+ all the way.
Right. Joe?
I enjoyed it for the simple reason that it did follow a lot of the comics, especially. Mm-hmm. I waited for his meeting with Bane to watch Bane. When Bane, originally he broke Batman, I almost had the comic of the end of Nightfall flashing in my head of Bane breaking Batman. It was just that good.
Yeah. He did a great job of bringing that to life.
I will say, I personally am disappointed with Bane only for the fact that I didn't feel he was that intimidating as a villain. I still say Christopher Nolan's Joker was the best villain out of the three movies.
Right. They definitely made the Joker more lethal. Bane was very clever, but he wasn't as lethal as Joker was. Well, gang, we are out of time for now. So thank you so much for listening in, and we will see you very soon for the full year review of movies, and Pozzible movie rewards will be coming up before the Oscars. So we'll catch you guys then. Bye now.
See you later.
Be seeing you.